Hi everybody, it's Thomas here from thomasfitzgeraldphotography.com. Today I want to show you a little trick using Photoshop and Lightroom. So let me just show you what I want to do. So I have this lovely image here of the cliffs and the walkway. This was taken on the town, just outside the town of Malahide in Dublin. There's a lovely walkway along the coastline, as you can see. We have this nice image here, but we've got all these people in the shot and it's kind of taking away from it, so I kind of wanted more a natural looking with like nobody in it. So you could try and Photoshop all these people out, but it's just going to get messy and it's going to ruin the shot. So luckily I have another shot taken at the same time. It's not quite exactly the same, however you can see that if you look here, this whole section is clear. So what I can do is, by combining these two images, I can basically get rid of these people. Now this is actually relatively straightforward. So what you need to do is, obviously you're going to need to use this Photoshop for this, but let's start by getting the images into Photoshop. Now there's a trick in Lightroom for doing this that some people may not be aware of, so let me just show you what to do. So for start, let me just go to the grid view. So I want to select the two images, and then I'm going to right click on them and go edit in, and instead of going edit in Photoshop, I'm going to go down here to the bottom and where it says open as layers in Photoshop. So let me just click on that and give this a second as it sends everything over to Photoshop. I'm just going to switch over to Photoshop and watch it do its thing. So there we can see we have both of them. So now what I want to do is align both of these layers so that everything's exactly where it should be. And luckily, again, there's an automatic way to do that. So we start by selecting both of the images. So I have them both selected over here in the layers panel. Then what I want to do is I'm going to go up to Edit, Auto Align Layers. Okay, and projection, we want to leave this set to auto. I don't need to do anything else for this because that's all we're going to need. So let me just click OK. So Photoshop will now align both of the layers based on the content. This is kind of the same thing that's used when you're making panoramas. It's the same technology that's used to line everything up. So now we've got both of these lined up, we can see that what we need to do is basically mask this to the layer below, because we want this as our main shot because it's slightly better framed. And then we just want to use this section of it, and then there's another little piece over, we want this section, and then there's another little bit over here where there's some people, so we want to get rid of that as well. So let me start by adding a layer mask. Okay, and now I'm going to invert that layer mask by pressing Command I. Okay, so now we've inverted the mask. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to select the brush tool, and then I'm just going to paint over this, and as you can see, we're getting rid of the people. So there you go, that's pretty straightforward. And then this person over here, we can get rid of her as well. As you can see, that's not quite lined up right because the shots were from two different angles, so let's undo that. We're not going to get rid of her, we'll do that the old-fashioned way in a minute. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to crop this image down. So we'll crop back to there. Okay, so just to finish this off, I'm just going to get rid of that person over in the corner, so let's just zoom in. You could, if you wanted, leave it. No, it's not really a huge distraction, but if we want kind of the windswept coastline look with nobody in it, it's best to get rid of them. So what I'm going to do is, you could just merge the layers, but I want to keep everything editable for the minute, so I'm just going to create a new layer and then merge everything. So to do that, you press Command Option Shift E, and that will create a new empty layer, or and that will create a new layer with everything merged. Okay, which is what we've done here. So now we just go to the clone tool, clone, select our clone area. You could use the healing brush for this either. I'm just going to use the clone tool for now. Okay, and there's that person gone. Fairly straightforward. If we zoom back out, you can see we wouldn't really notice anything, so that's pretty much fine. If you want, at this point, you could flatten the layers and send everything back to Photoshop or to Lightroom, or we could do a bit more to it. If you want to keep your image editable, you can just save it. It'll save as a Photoshop file back to Lightroom anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So let me just save that out. Okay, and then I'm going to switch back over to Lightroom, and here's our edited image. So there you have it. That's pretty straightforward. Now we have people are gone, and we have a nice, clean, windswept, empty-looking coastline. We could, if we wanted, go in and just do some more things to this now. We can make it kind of more dramatic. So let me just see. You probably want the sky a bit more dramatic, and maybe bring back a little bit of the detail in the cliffs there. I'll add a gradient, bring down the sky a bit more, make it a bit more contrasty. We don't want to go too far because I don't like the image to be too over processed. Maybe add a vignette. I'm going to use one of my vignette presets. Let me see. This one will do. Yeah, there we go. Let me just go full screen so you can see that. So there we have it. There's our now empty cliff walk. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this. If you like this video on YouTube, follow my channel, and don't forget to check out my blog at blog.thomasfitzgeraldphotography.com, or you can see the rest of my photography stuff at thomasfitzgerald.photography. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for watching.